With colder temperatures still on the horizon, more preparations would need to be made. And I had some suspicions of what was needed in order to be prepared for that. The people found the foremans to be quite motivating. I told them to keep up the good work. Oh yes. And I decided to have a sawmill constructed. Closer to a source of wood. Then the infirmary was next on my list of things to have researched. In fact, I really should have had someone work on that sooner. Yes, I will need at least 2. Oh yes. There's also the problem of a lack of food. A lack of it, as in not enough to go around. Perhaps assigning a foreman to each of the facilities that produce food would be prudent. Or I could have better food production facilities researched next. As it's hard to well, have a healthy environment without decent sustenance. It makes things overall quite difficult, and not just lacking the energy to move around. And a resource depot or 2 would be quite useful in storing coal, as current storage is no longer good enough. Not at this point. As for any new laws, a care house would be nice in case of...
Listen, everyone. New law is signed.
the possibility of amputations. Well, we could always have a factory constructed to make replacements. Limbs. I mean, I'm not Nikola Tesla. I need to operate with quite a bit more compassion than him. Otherwise, survival is meaningless. Well, it certainly didn't do Tesla City any good. Oh yes, the resource depot needs a resource to store. I set it to coal, to make sure that everyone knows what to put in there. Especially as we're having it gathered quicker than it's being used. The amount of Londoners looks to be no longer a problem. At this rate, they'll be gone before they become a real threat to stability. It would also not help. Oh yes, and some more coal arrived. I sent that scout party to the damaged snowcats. See what can be found there. Yes, it would not help if people fled into the cold and another theft. I decided to have them hunted down. If this persists, I might have to make an example. Meanwhile, I decided to have another hothouse constructed. A thief was caught, and so an example needed to be made, so I had him locked up. I couldn't just banish that thief, as considering what we've been dealing with, that's a death sentence, and leaving it up to the mob, that would send entirely the wrong message, and cause them to tear him apart. As the scout party approached the cave, its inhabitants pulled out their rifles and took positions behind the wall barring the entrance. They were in bad shape, weak from malnourishment and illness. Apparently they dealt justice to Mr. Tesla after expelling him from this city. The body was buried, and we took them with us. And I thought that the Americans being overly trigger-happy was an exaggeration. Thankfully, at least with this group, it turned out not to be the case. Yes, at this point there was no need to have the heat setting as high as it can go.
Come, lads. We must work harder.
Not right now. As there were 3 days, 4 at most, before the next huge temperature drop would occur. And hopefully there would be facilities to create a stockpile of coal. knew that even an additional hothouse would not be enough to alleviate the hunger of the people. Research would provide the solution. According to the indicators, coal was being gathered faster than it was being used, which was good, as that meant a stockpile was being gathered. I knew that it would be needed at some point. As for the next research project, flying hunters would be next, as they would be able to find more meat for we were desperately short on that and, well, anything edible. I still can't get that image of the survivors of Winterhome resorting to cannibalism. I do not want such a desperate act occurring here. Not when there's an opportunity to provide a solution to that. I knew that I would need to produce more than is consumed of that as well. The problem is how to do that. While dealing with the Londoner problem. As for research, the industrial hothouse is next.
Rest time. Work is done for the day.
I decided that it would be wise to upgrade the hunters' huts after they have come back from the hunt. As food was short as it was, I believe that it would also be prudent to have the hothouses upgraded once their work shifts end. Either that or have them upgraded one at a time to minimize disruption. Although the amount of those suffering from some form of illness. I've received word of a man protesting in front of the prison, screaming at the abuse of the penitentiary system. They were causing trouble, stealing from the city. There needed to be law and order, but not at any cost. I decided not to have him arrested. To do that, simply for expressing an opinion, will only confirm his worst fears. That would not only make me no better than those in Winterhome and Tesla City, but it would be incredibly stupid. And we couldn't afford to be either of those. With more infirmaries, the sick can be treated easier and quicker. As for what's to follow the industrial hothouse, I had an idea regarding that. Oh yes, I did. Yes, a house. A real house would be nice. I would need to have that researched at some point. suspect that some of those... Another theft. I decided to leave them be. See what happens. A crowd gathered, demanding that I not ignore the thefts. If I do that much longer, more get ideas that the Londoners were right and it'd be safe with them. I decided to have the thieves locked up. They need a message sent to them that if my patience is taxed, it will run out. It's also reduced the amount of Londoners around that way was cause trouble. Although there was the problem of some of them being dangerously ill. As for what to work on next, well, thanks to the amount of supplies coming in, I had a few ideas. As for the scout party, I decided to send them in the direction of the stone ship. See what's there. Well, we haven't found anything else, so my thoughts on that were, why not? If there is something nearby, we can find it. If there isn't, there isn't. With improved food supplies on the horizon, along with lower temperatures, things were cautious, but looking up. We also had a few more